Pioneers of Esports podcast. Get ready.
Well, today we have an awesome special guest with us. We've got John Numbers, the legendary John Numbers. He was the winner of the 2015 Nintendo World Championships and the only competitor to actually qualify to be in both 2015 and 2017. That's some pretty impressive stuff, John. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Not
And
only
our co-host Chris, of course.
Not
Hi,
only
Chris.
not only qualified, he was runner-up. He was one mistake away from being the repeat legend. And in my book, you are a
They're
legend.
going to remind me of that.
Hey, dude. There is a recurring theme on this show. We've talked to a bunch of previous winners of other competitions, and to a T, every single one of them have this defeat story that just eats away at them, even though they have a title under their belt. So you're not unique. Everybody's got their little moment. So
Wow. Okay. I'm not even special.
I'd say being the only person to be in both 2015 and 17 qualifies you for pretty damn special.
Aw, thanks.
Of course. Well, either way.
So we got the
thanks for
good cup,
joining
bad
us.
cup thing here. I got it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the dynamic that we're going for, right, Chris?
oh yeah. We're just
So
go ahead.
I was just going to say, so let's just jump right in. Talk to us about your experience when it comes to. Let's start with the 2015 tournament. How did you hear about it?
How did I hear about it? Came right from Nintendo's YouTube channel. I was just like, wow, there's going to be Super Smash Brothers and stuff, and the Nintendo World Championships at E3 with Reggie's very nice presentation.
He's sitting there playing his
And
Virtual
his,
Boy and his cheating on the power pad, and
I love that.
it's such a
I've
good
never
video.
actually played track and field with the power pads, so I don't know. I don't know the struggle.
It's a struggle to stay awake playing that game. We'll just put it at that.
This is true. So, how did you get into Nintendo in the first place? So you just said Smash, so you're a Smash player, I take it.
Of course, but it goes further back than that, obviously. I've been a fan of Nintendo my entire life.
Awesome.
When my folks were pregnant with Nick, my sis, they were like, hey, we're going to need something to keep us entertained. So they got them an NES. They got themselves an NES. And then I was born into the family, and there it was. So
you started with the real old school. Good stuff.
Of course. I had a big old library of NES games, although my folks only played Mario 1 and Dr. Mario.
So what was your favorite?
What's up? My favorite?
What was your favorite NES game from back then?
Oh, I don't know. It would probably either be Dr. Mario or this weird game called Darkman by, I don't even know who made it, by Ocean. It was based off a movie or something.
I think I remember that.
Interesting.
Darkman, right? Yeah. Vaguely.
That Dr. Mario helped you out there later on, didn't it?
Oh, it certainly did. But I was complete garbage at the game until like the Wii version came out. And then I was really getting competitive into games.
So that was 06-ish when you were about 20 years old. You're still in high school. What was?
Something like that, I think. I would estimate anyway.
Nice. And so, when did you really find your competitive spirit? What was that first game that made you say, "Hey, you know what? I'm really good at this. I'm just going to go all out and start beating people"?
Well, I definitely got competitive before I got into I'm going to start beating people, that's for sure. Oh. Sorry about that. Because the first game I ever truly got competitive in was Super Smash Bros. Brawl about a year after it came out. I was a bit of like a sheltered shut-in, like most gamers are, and I didn't realize that people existed outside of my house.
What?
I know, it was such a revelation. I found out that there was a competitive community, a competitive scene for Super Smash Brothers about a year after Brawl came out, so that'd be about 2008. And I was like, whoa, I'm going to go to tournaments. So I went to a tournament, and I got chain grabbed by DDD, and then I went home crying.
Oh, yeah.
And it was awful.
Yeah.
And I never really got my footing in Brawl, honestly. I had a lot of fun. I made a lot of friends, which was really nice. The community is so, like, accepting and stuff. It wasn't until that fan mod of Brawl, Project M, came out that I really started, like, hitting my stride. But as far as, like, competitive gaming, in general, I don't know. I think that would be around the time that I set off for college and the like, because I just met like other like-minded gamers like me, and we were just like all super competitive. I'm like, hey, I'm pretty competitive.
You're competitive. I'm competitive. We should play. Why not, right?
Yeah, and I just picked up the skills in a lot of games, like a lot of 2D fighters, including Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom and Project M and Melee and things like that. And, you know, other games like Dr. Mario, Tetris, things like that. It was a gaming club, so there were just games abound.
Nice. Very nice. And so how did you hear about the Nintendo World Championships?
Like I said, Nintendo just posted it right onto their YouTube channel.
Got it.
And I got to watch Reggie. We all got to watch Reggie do his training workout.
So here's.
And speaking of, that reminds me of that one thing that someone tweeted recently. You remember how in the video it said, "Reggie, you can't go to the Nintendo World Championships. You work for Nintendo." He says, "Not anymore."
And he quit.
I know. But someone took that one spot and said, "Today is when you can start retweeting this."
Nice. So maybe that was a spoiler, and we're going to have a 2019 Nintendo World Championships.
I know. That'd be nice, but if you want my predictions on that, I don't think we're going to be having Nintendo World Championships this year. Nintendo tends to do like one big competition every year, and it seems like this World Championships for Smash and Splatoon is going to be it. It even has the branding, so I can't imagine they do another one in the same year. They do.
Oh, they do. They have to have like a marketing thing attached to it. Like in 17, it was Mario Odyssey, and 15, it was Mario Maker. So there need to be some sort of new game to promote to have another championship. Right now, I don't know. Mario Maker 2 doesn't seem worthy.
I mean, Mario Maker 2 is coming out around the time of the Splatoon and Smash Bros. World Championships, so it can't be then.
Yeah, so
it's got to be something that's gonna come out.
Something new out of left field.
See, I would figure that since we have, and you know, we're filming this in April of 2019, so I would say that by the time that we see E3 come around, we should have a better idea of kind of what Nintendo's planning on doing for the next year. And you might start to see like the ideas start to flow of what could be interesting for Nintendo World Championships 2020.
Yeah, what's going to be the last round of Nintendo World Championships?
Yeah.
Well, all I can say is here's hoping that we do get a Nintendo World Championship 2020. I need some revenge.
Oh, gee. You'll be there, goddammit.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here with my first place trophy and my second place medal, and I'm like, this is unacceptable.
So the question is, would Kyle and Thomas come back since it wouldn't be so you could get your revenge since it wouldn't be a qualifier in Mario Kart? I wonder if you'd be able to get your revenge. I don't know if they would enter in that case.
Oh, I just meant revenge on the whole event. I don't care who shows up. I just gotta beat him down if I can manage it, or I could choke.
You know, it happens. Either way, though, you can't really say that you choked if you think about it, because, you know, making it all the way to the end of that, you know, twice in a row, that gauntlet that they do is very impressive.
I know, those gauntlets are crazy.
They really are.
I mean, for the Mario Odyssey challenge, I didn't really choke. More so, I just made a really stupid decision. It was a well thought out decision, but it was a stupid decision nonetheless.
What was it?
I'm not sure if I mentioned it. I haven't mentioned it too much on the, you know, the part that I messed up on, right? When I had the bullet bill.
You were the bullet bill, right?
And I slammed into a wall. Mm-hmm. What happened was, because the last 3D Mario game I played was Super Mario 3D Land on 3DS. Mm-hmm. I was used to playing games like that with the stereoscopic 3D, and it gave me a better sense of where I was in 3D space. When I was approaching the platform with the bullet bill, it looked like it was too high up for my bullet bill to get on. So I was like, okay, let me try to go to the side and see if there's another way on. And I forgot there were pillars everywhere, and I just slammed into one.
Got it. That actually makes sense. I hadn't really thought about it. I mean, obviously, when I was watching, I mean, you know, we had met previously in Arizona before the 2017. So, of course, I was rooting for you and everything. And
thanks.
So, you know, you kind of look at it and you go, what in the world happened there? So I'm actually glad you have that story for us, because
I know.
I'm sure
if you rewatch it, you can see me start to swerve out of the way right as I approach the platform. That's the reason why it happened. There was no reason for me not to just keep going straight, except for the reason I just gave.
Right. No, that I'd have to watch it again, but that does make sense now that I'm thinking about it.
Did they give you a chance to play this the previous night, or was this brand new to both you and Ito?
They gave us 10 minutes to practice the game's controls and stuff.
That's
Nothing.
Was it?
I
But
wandered
it wasn't
around.
in
I
that
like.
stage.
What's
Was it?
up?
But it wasn't in that stage, was it?
We were in Toast Arena, or that's the name of the desert, right?
Yeah.
We were in Sand Kingdom, but they didn't put us inside the pyramids, so no.
Got it.
so
We just kind of wandered around, messed around with the controls. If I had more time to mess around with it, I probably would have been able to save myself, and I slammed. Like, now
Sure.
that we know everything that we know about Mario Odyssey's controls, like, there were like 50,000 different ways I could have saved myself after the fact.
Right. Yeah, but even
But, oh,
watching that, the people at home wouldn't have known that there was a way to save yourself. Like,
Yeah, not
even
at the
watching,
time.
it was like, oh yeah, once you crash, that was it. So
Yeah, I was running on like Super Mario 3D World logic, so I was like, I guess I'm dead.
yeah, that makes sense. And I actually, as a side note, I was a big fan of that engine in general, of the Super Mario World 3D. So I can definitely understand where you're coming from there.
It's a good engine, aside from you have 8 directions to work with.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Absolutely. So I do have a quick side question for you. You had one of 16 total of the Nintendo World Championships finalist shirts. Did you keep yours, and did you keep it in good shape?
from 15.
From 15, yeah.
I definitely still have it, but it's just been sitting in a closet, so I guess I've kept it in good shape.
So make sure you keep it. So of course I have to.
Okay, I don't have it like that. You maniac.
There's only a few made, so in my mind, it's a piece of history.
All right.
Mine's on the wall that way. I'm not turning the camera around. My game room's a mess right now.
I'm sorry. I think you guys are more dedicated to the preservation of facts like this.
It's true, which is actually why we made this podcast in the first place, is preserving not only the artifacts, but the stories behind the artifacts as well as the people. I think there's a lot of interesting stories that we kind of pull out of you guys. Like, for example, who in the world would have ever known about the Bullet Bill story if you hadn't just explained it, right? Now it's part of history. Everyone can know.
Cool.
And we're way better than the Game Informer people when after 15. But
Oh, thank you. You remember that.
yeah.
Oh, the Game
So now I
Informer
got to hear
interview.
the story. I don't know the story.
Oh my gosh. So when I won the Nintendo World Championships 2015, I got contacted by a bunch of different guys just for interviews and stuff. Someone suggested that I should ask for money for this, but I didn't really care. So I was just like, whatever, sure. And I did a couple of interviews, and Game Informer was one of them. And they so heavily cut and redacted what I said that it made me look like a completely pretentious asshole. It was just like, wow.
Yeah.
The biggest one was the way they worded the prizes at the end. It made it sound like I was upset that Cosmo, now Narcissa, got a prize for getting second place. It was like, oh, I only got a 3DS and a trophy, but Cosmo got a 3DS. And I'm like, ugh. But that's not how I said it.
Yeah, that's part of the problem with printed interviews, right? You don't really get the context.
I know, but you don't understand how many lines they cut out.
Sure.
And-
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just like, whoa. I had to go on this whole big tirade on Reddit and GameFAQs and stuff because the damage was being done. I was like, guys, no. And thankfully, what I was doing gained traction, and I saved myself. But still, ugh.
Jeez.
They did eventually release the entire transcript, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they solved it in the end, but and I don't want to get into politics or anything, but this was in the middle of that Gamergate bullshit back then, and it was like, why even make it? I'm not taking any signs of that because I don't the harassment crap or whatever, but
I don't know anything about Gamergate.
you don't want to either. But just the redactions and making you look like somebody that you weren't. That sucked. But
it's the money. It's
Yeah.
all about the money. They wanted to make
dinero.
an interesting clickbait article. You know how it is.
and it's Game Informer.
Yeah.
They don't actually make any money. That's just a subsidiary bonus from GameStop. So you know what.
I mean, it was on their website, so
Yeah.
Right, they get clicks for sure.
That-
Yeah, it's the whole click share rage bait. People are going to share it because they're like, look at how this person talked. It's yeah. I'm not a fan.
Oof.
Like if you watch the opposite version of this is the Disney XD presentation where they went out of their way to make everybody look good, and at the end you're saying this is the first time I was ever on a plane, and here I am, and it was like everybody was like they showed everybody in their best light possible. So it's all framing, and some people did it well and some people didn't, and the truth's probably somewhere in the middle. But you're a good guy. You weren't like you've never once complained that you didn't win anything out of this, because other than the trophy and the 3DS, Nintendo didn't give you jack squat, which
I know it would have been nice to get the 1990 prizes. That would have been something.
You want
94
$10,000
is the
in a
prizes.
car.
Yeah,
You
want
want the 94 prizes. Those are better.
Yeah, you don't.
What was 94's prizes?
So they did there was a Mustang, a 1994 Mustang,
Ooh.
and I forget how much it was. How much was
Tell
it?
me
again?
how much
Was it
cash
25
there
grand
was.
total? I think it was
25 grand.
Like right around there. Is that what it was, Chris? I don't remember off the top.
It would technically be 30 grand total for 1990.
Yeah, and although you don't want the 1990 because you would have won a Geo Metro, and that's
Yeah.
If you don't know cars, you don't want to know what a Geo Metro is.
And listen, I fully understand why they gave out huge prizes back then, because they were kind of treating it. I've watched like some of the Nintendo World Championships from 90 and 90.
Yeah.
Well, mostly 90. And it seems like they were mostly hosting it like a game show, like when there's big prizes on the line and stuff like that. And it was just like, wow, this really feels like The Price is Right or something like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what was big back then. Game shows were still in their heyday at that point.
$10,000.
I think we found your job for you, John.
Yeah. What the heck? Come out to Burbank, California. We'll get you a spot on one of the game shows.
Hey, if you can.
Contestant. Yep. Very cool. All right. So then why don't you compare and contrast the experience from 15 and 17?
Oh, I mean, they felt about the same, honestly. Like, how did it go? In 2015, when I won, they contacted me by phone and told me that I won. And, I went through some emails, filled out some paperwork. They set up my flight and stuff like that. And when I got there, they gave me like a care package stuff, like a Visa card and stuff like that. And, they gave me my room. And there were rehearsals, hanging out, things like that. And in 2017, it honestly was more of the same. There was the hoteling, the Visa card, the care package. The care package was a lot better.
Of course.
The Visa card price was bigger too.
Of course.
Yeah,
I know.
2015.
Thanks.
Like the price. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to throw out a side note. You keep going.
Yeah, for everything outside of the competition, 2017 was about the same, but they definitely upped the ante on things, because the Visa card was better, but they took us out for like meals and stuff.
Right.
On 2017 as well. They had food prepared for us, things like that. They might have been 2015, but I can't remember at this point because my memory is awful.
15 they just paid for the.
Oh wait, you were there. Never mind.
You forget me already? Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry. That's actually is actually hot garbage.
What I was going to actually bring up was for our viewers that might not realize, Chris, our co-host, and my co-host, and I'm his co-host, whatever you want to call that. Chris was also a Nintendo World Championships finalist back in 2015. For the viewers that wouldn't know that, but apparently that's for John too.
Not quite a winner over here. I was second round out, so
I mean, you made it. That's what's important.
Right. Thank you. That's nice of you to say.
For the Nintendo World Championships, like these modern ones, the good prizes are got simply by winning the qualifier.
Right.
Like everything you get that's good was attained at the qualifier, basically. Like the 3DS at the end of 2015 was nice, but for the most part, because it was also the same for the Smash Bros. North America Open. Mm-hmm. Like I won it, and they gave me like the care package was very similar to Nintendo World Championships 2017. I got a Visa card, a backpack full of things, including like an amiibo and stuff like that.
You got amiibo that time.
What's up?
Yeah, funny thing about amiibos. Whoa, big. We didn't get a single amiibo in 15 for the care package. This is when they were at their height of popularity. We didn't get a single one.
They were too popular to give to
We
you.
we got the
I
generic.
remember that the backpack full of stuff happened in 2017,
Yeah.
but not 15.
No, I'm sorry. I'm totally
I'm
grateful for
sorry.
15, but it's just funny as hell, like how much shafted we get versus every other competition and every other year. But
I know.
it's all good. It's fun, but I just laughing.
But yeah, 2017 and North America Open definitely had like the same stuff. They gave us the Visa card, the bag full of prizes, and took us out for like an equal amount of nights. So it was like, wow, they know how to run their things.
Yep, they're
I think
getting
they were
better.
kind of like iterating on what they did in 2015 and to like improve the experience.
Yeah. What'd you think
So
about?
we were the test dummies.
Well, hey, yeah, we were. How did you think about having the kids there in 17? Because 15 it was all grown ups, and the mood inside the room, I felt, maybe you'll disagree, but it was kind of like businesslike and a little bit tense, and we didn't really start socializing much until after the competition was over. Whereas I get the feeling just from watching you guys, because I was in the crowd in 17. I think you remember seeing me there. I gave you your cartridge afterwards. But okay, just checking. But like having the kids there, it seemed like a little more fun oriented. Is that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, wait, I was having fun in 2015.
I did too.
Were
Yeah,
you guys nervous?
I was treating it like I was a kid again. I was being ridiculous and shouting and woohoo, but everybody else was kind of staring at me weird and. But
I remember that I was having fun, but rewatching the event, my body definitely did not say the same thing. I was like stiff as a board on the stage.
oh yeah,
That's why in 2017 I made it a point to like do stupid moves,
yep.
make silly gestures and stuff on the stage to keep myself loose and at least keep myself like in high spirits.
It worked.
Yeah.
Well, how much tournament experience did you have leading up to that? Like, had you been in finals previously and in anything? Had you won stuff?
Oh, plenty of finals. Like I have a ton of big tournament experience because after the first competition I went to in Super Smash Bros. Brawl 2008, I went to a lot of events and I did deal with tournament nerves for like I would say 1, maybe 2 whole years. But eventually I got acclimated to it, and while I didn't make any significant placements in Brawl, in Project M and also Smash 4, I was basically making it to the finals extremely consistently. Smash 4 only in like the beginning half, obviously, because then DLC came out, but that's another story. But yeah, I'm very familiar with like playing in finals, keeping my wits about myself, stuff like that. I would say it's a big reason why I didn't really like choke. Like I didn't lose to choking in 2017. I just lost to being really stupid.
Well, I mean, inexperience with the engine is what I would blame that on. So
No,
that
I was just
does
really dumb.
Well, either way, what I will say is, yeah, you could tell that, you just, even though you said you weren't really comfortable watching your body language and everything else, I would probably attribute that more to the size of the crowd than it would be for tournament experience, because you did just kind of crush that entire tournament.
Thank you. No, I wasn't. How do I put this? You know that kind of thing where you know you're not nervous, but your body is still reacting negatively to the situation? I was kind of in that situation. I was just like, ugh, I'm stiff as the board and I gotta use the can.
Nice.
I was able to disregard all that in 2017, though, at least good.
What was the gauntlet again? And what games did you end up playing in 17? Because you didn't go to a single underground.
I know. I would have been fine in any of the underground games, but what was it above ground? We started with the 3 single-player game gauntlet,
right?
Which was Shield Sledding in Breath of the Wild, Home Run Contest in Smash 4, and
Metroid.
The Dig or Not Chase in Samus Returns. And then how many people were left after that? Then we played. It wasn't Mario Kart yet, or was it?
I think they went to Smash next, didn't they? No.
Yes, it was Smash. We had 16 people left.
And they did two 8-player matches,
yes,
was it?
Two 8-player matches. And yeah, I did really well at that because I have Shulk. Then it was Mario Kart, which I was extremely, because we had exactly 12 people. So Yeah. And I was extremely excited to get through that one because I was
That-
really nervous. Everyone there was a Mario Kart professional.
All the
oh,
champions,
crying
not
loud.
You
not the
know how nervous I
invitees.
was during that round.
Oh yeah.
And then after Mario Kart, there were 8 people left. That was when we did Splatoon, and then Arms, and then it ended with Mario Odyssey.
So the Splatoon one is the one I want to talk about because apparently the teams were random, but it ended up being 4
I know.
grown-ups, quote unquote. I mean, you're all big kids,
It just happened to end that way.
and then the 4 little kids.
It just happened to end that on the bracket split, one side the older people made it, and on the other half the kids made it.
And they
It
fought
just
like
ended that
hell.
way. What?
They fought like hell and nearly took
They
the damn
did.
thing. And
Yeah, in retrospect, when I really think about it, there's obviously no way to say for sure, but if we had lost the Splatoon round,
ooh,
you know, the adults, it's very possible that I could have had a better chance at winning the Nintendo World Championships, if that makes sense.
yeah, because
the underground games from that point were Tetris followed by Mario Party 2.
Right.
2 games I have a ton of experience in. But the thing is, everyone there was my age, so it's possible they had experience too.
did you see how
No, they didn't.
did you see how terrible
they
that
didn't?
did you see how terrible Tetris was?
Oh my god, that was just amazing.
It was painful to watch.
Fair, like their stacking was everyone's stacking was just kind of out of control. But to be fair,
That is
you have to remember that Game Boy Tetris also had what I refer to as super glue pieces.
Yep.
You know, just like Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Tetris on NES.
We are
So
highly
it's like
familiar.
some people not be used to that. It's like, okay, the piece will come here, then I can move it. No, the piece just lands, and that's game.
And it was level
Yeah.
10, which is pretty dang quick.
Yeah, 0 heart.
Yeah, for people that aren't used to it, that can be a nightmare. Absolutely.
Yeah. After the fact, I had tried that challenge on my own system, and I had gotten the highest score out of everyone on the first try.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bragging.
You're quite the Tetris player. You're a damn Swiss Army knife of gaming, which is why you do so well at these sorts of events.
I know, but I'm not like amazing at any game either. I know it's like cliche to say jack of all trades, master of none, but that is kind of how it is. I kind of do mediocre if I'm like at a dedicated game competition.
Nah, I think you're built for these sorts of things, which is why you're the 2-time finalist and maybe more. But
mediocre might have been a bad choice of words. Like I'll perform above average, but I'll never reach like that godlike level that everyone seems to be at, if you know what I mean.
no, it's
I'll be at like the level where I can beat someone if they don't know what they're doing, or even like a competitive player. But like those top of the line players who just like eat, drink, and sleep like that specific game, I don't stand a chance.
no
But matter how much practice I do.
If you played Hungry Box in anything but Smash Brothers, you'd win every time.
I know, but I'm saying, like, it seems like no matter how much practice in any game, I don't mind. I'm just saying, like, it's not getting me down or anything.
No, be proud of your accomplishments, and keep going. And it's kind of sad, like doing these interviews, that everybody just feels so bad about themselves. I kind of thought it would be the opposite going into this. Okay, all right.
I'm just mentioning. I know the way I phrase it, it makes good at anything.
Okay, just checking.
No, but the braggy version of this is that I can hit like high proficiency in any game I touch. If you want me to put a positive spin on that.
So speaking of that, then going into 15, there was a leaderboard for NWC Remix on the 3DS, and everybody's got like the top 8 scores were 6, 7, 8 million. It was growing and growing and growing during that whole 30-day period before the actual tournament. But at the very top, there was this 11 or 12 million point score that says numbers next to it. So
numbers.
That was it. Like some people thought it was cheating. Nobody knew because nobody saw pictures. It was just a number that said numbers at the top of a scoreboard that was astronomically higher than anybody else could accomplish at that point. And then when you win the damn regional, it's like, oh my God, there he is. He actually exists.
He is.
We all knew in that room that you were the damn favorite. I know you were trying to downplay that at the dinner before, but everybody who like we knew not the invitees. I think the speedrunners thought they were going to dominate, but I think that again, that was they're very good at their specific games, and if being thrown into a gauntlet is just not conducive to what they do. But
Right.
and the other example is you were at the dinner the night before, and you're like, hey, let's play some Mario Party. And when most people hear Mario Party, it's like, oh, fun, casual, let's go around. And
We played Mario Party?
we played Mario Party on 3DS for a little bit. And
Right. Okay.
and you were just had to face up to the screen, and you were so goddamn intense, and you were just you were obliterating everybody, and it's like, dude, he's gonna win the whole damn thing. Disney interviewed everybody for their production, and they asked, who do you think's gonna win other than yourself? And I said John Numbers, and I hope that footage is out there somewhere, because had Vegas been taking money, I would have put money on you.
That's awesome. Yeah, there was. I do also remember, like, we kept checking the scoreboards between the DS and the Wii version back then, just to kind of figure out like who's doing what and so on and so forth.
But the Wii version had a score cap, right?
Yep.
But I don't think it was capped by the time that you first broke that high. Is that right? If I'm not mistaken, I didn't
play on the Wii one.
Yeah, the Wii U was always capped. It still is.
No, but what I'm saying is, I don't think that anybody had hit that cap at that point.
I think they removed it on the 3DS version because they had a competition, like the top 50 scores or something got a $10 gift. It was some weird.
What?
When it first came out on the Wii U, because they had the NES remix, and they had the NES remix 2, and the NWC remix was like a bonus if you bought both games, and they had like a competition that first weekend that was online, and I think maybe at that point they might have realized that people could actually break the cap, and that's why they took it off in the 3DS version. That's all speculation. I don't know this. Oh, well, yeah, but it's one of those just. You were already a legend before you got there. That's my whole point with this whole story. And my second thing is leading up to this is like how did you get good at a game that was never meant to be played that way? Like, who plays Dr. Mario for score? No, hardly anybody. And if you don't know the origin story, the 1991 championship used Dr. Mario as the money game, and the winner of that tournament didn't even bother with the Dr. Mario. He just spammed Mario 3 for points.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah.
The best way to do it was to just spam score on Mario 3, right?
Yep. Well,
you do the Koopa jumping.
Yep.
Primarily because people didn't know how the Dr. Mario scoring could evolve in that fashion.
So how'd you get good at it? That's the question.
Yeah.
How'd I get good at Dr. Mario?
The score chasing Dr. Mario.
Well, my history of Dr. Mario definitely spans like a lot more history than any other game. Because, as I mentioned, when I was born into my family, we already had an NES.
Right.
And the games my folks liked to play were mostly Mario 1 and Dr. Mario.
Good stuff.
And, I would play that with my mom, and I would get my butt kicked because I was a little kid. And,
Yeah.
She's an adult. And then eventually we got the Nintendo 64, and there was Dr. Mario.
Right.
And that was disappointing. But I didn't really care too much. And then eventually the Wii version came. And I played the crap out of it because, I was like, oh, Dr. Mario, that's so fun. And I don't know, at that point I hit an age where I was just like, wait a minute, look at these cool combos I can do. And I kind of just made it like a hobby of seeing how big of combos I could make. And so I did, and it was just like, wow, these are some pretty big combos. And I was like, Mom, look at this. And she's like, whoa, Dr. Mario. Something like that.
Did you?
And yeah,
Did you go online with that?
Yes, I also played online like crazy. That's how I found out spamming 2 chains is so powerful. It's so 2 chains in Dr. Mario is completely broken. You just do one, then you do another one, and they just don't get to play.
They never get a chance to actually do anything.
I know. Have you got a chance to play Packy?
We tried to, but his connection is so god-forsaken awful. We couldn't even get through like half a game.
We got to get you two together. He's a damn beast at that game.
So I've heard.
Yeah, two-time national champion.
I know. I tried to have him play me on my stream.
Oh no.
I'm gonna make him come up here. He can play from my place, and we'll both
Anytime.
host. Yeah, that's awesome. I'll get that set up. Hey, Packy, when you watch this, just so you know, you're coming up here.
Okay.
He's
Hey, if
down
you
in.
have it, I'll
He's
be
down
happy
in
to play
San
you after
Diego.
the podcast.
Oh no,
If you
I was saying I'm going to get Packy to come up because he lives in San Diego. I'm in LA, so
No,
I was
meant
saying
you.
Oh, me? Yeah, I'll play you. Sure, absolutely.
Cool. Let's do it right now. No.
So you played Dr. Mario before Puyo Puyo, right?
Oh, way before. Like
Okay.
Dr. Mario and Tetris as well. Puyo Puyo came way later on.
Because a lot of the progression seems to be the opposite. Like people figure out how to make chains in Puyo, and then they get into Dr. Mario. But you know, the actual historical way is Dr. Mario came first, and it's always funny when people play Dr. Mario's like, this looks like a Puyo Puyo ripoff. It's like, flip that around,
Puyo
dude.
Puyo is boneless Dr. Mario.
Boneless.
Pretty much.
I love it.
Yeah,
Nice.
Puyo Puyo I have a bit of history with too. On that one, I had come across a on DS,
Right.
and you know, I played it and I wasn't very good at it, but at that time I didn't really care. I was just like, whoa, it's fun. And you know, I was like making 2 chains. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I never played Kirby's Avalanche or Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, so DS was my first interaction with Puyo Puyo. And then eventually Puyo Puyo Tetris came out. I was like, hey, I remember this game. And then eventually I looked up tutorials. I joined a Puyo Discord. It was a lot of fun, like making the journey to Puyo, like
Oh wow.
not mastery. What's the level below mastery? Proficiency.
Proficiency. Yeah.
That's kind of you hadn't played it in 2015. That's crazy. I would have thought you would have had played it by then. Oh, I guess you said you played the DS version, but you weren't like big until Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Right. Because at that time, like, I was just going on a binge on a lot of games. I was just like, okay, this is fun. What's
Right.
the next game?
And that's a Switch version too, right? You didn't play it on like PS3 or anything?
No. As I said, I'm a Nintendo gamer. Although I do have a PlayStation 4 sitting right there.
That's all right.
So if I remember correctly, didn't you win the Puyo Puyo Tetris tournament at Game On Expo in Arizona?
Yes, I did.
I thought so. Yeah, I remember because I had no history with Puyo Puyo. I was Tetris and Dr. Mario, sure. So it was interesting, like watching you actually just breeze through the. I can't remember what it was, but the that mode that they had on the Switch.
Swamp mode.
Blown away. Yeah, that was
Swamp mode is so fun. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So that kind of blew me away when I was like, all right, this game is very interesting. Yeah, I kind of like that.
It'd be nice if they had a competitive versus mode for Tetris and Dr. Mario back on SNES, but they don't. Just the score attack.
Yeah, Mike Iorosi and I, the '94 champion, we used to do a lot of Tetris Dr. Mario because back then he was a lot better at me than Tetris, and I was a lot better at Dr. Mario than he was. And so he used to get so pissed because I would beat him because of Dr. Mario, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Just play Tetris, just play Tetris."
Just play Tetris.
So yeah, it was good stuff. I actually really liked that game, the Tetris versus Dr. Mario. That was great. So what was it? I think the versus mode you played A for 25 lines,
Right.
then you played Dr. Mario to clear, and then you played Type B after that, wasn't it?
The other way around. B
Other way
first.
around. It's 25 lines of B, then Dr. Mario, then
That's right.
Type A.
That makes sense for the rest
I
of
was
the
able to
time.
play mixed match at PAX East, so I don't remember
Nice.
what score was though.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have a frame of reference. It's been so long since I've touched it. So I'm gonna have to pick that up again. That was a great game.
You playing any Tetris 99?
Oh, of course. I've been entering those Tetris Max. You know the ones
Yeah.
Yeah, did you get
Where,
did you get the points on both or what?
on both.
Well, I mean, do you
Oh
expect
yes,
to
I
get
won
it
the
on
first
second?
one. Yeah, I got top 1,000 on the first one, so
Okay.
$10 in Nintendo credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For this second one, I managed to rack up, what was it, 2,770 points. So
Not bad.
That's-
hopefully
should.
that's enough to get me to top 1,000.
That
I'm
should.
sure it is. Yeah,
That's
that's
27 wins.
well,
Well, sort of,
yeah, kind of.
give or take.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's some pretty hard hitters
In the
in
first
Tetris.
Tetris Maximus Cup, I went a absurdly large distance and got 50 wins.
Wow.
Oh, holy cow!
That was
Yeah,
brutal. I mean, I'm like I'm a level below you, obviously, and for
that
Tetris,
game is brutal. You could probably smoke me out of the water in NES tech.
I don't have the hyper tap thing going. I can
Dude,
barely.
hyper tech.
I can't do that crap. But I got 8 wins in the Maximus Cup one. It wasn't enough to get top
Nice.
1,000. But that last weekend, I was trying to spam a couple more wins. And I just couldn't do it. The competition
I
those last
understand.
few hours
It's
is
hard.
just
The competition
brutal.
got really stiff out of nowhere when
Yeah.
those things happen.
Yeah.
Like I was breezing through them before, and it's just like, yeah, and then just like everyone came out of the woodwork to
Yep.
whoop my ass.
Yep. And that's and you got 50. So I mean that's amazing.
Yeah, I definitely won. The Tetris Discord like tallied their own results together and were able to figure out what the cutoff was for winning. You had to get about 17 wins to make it into top.
Oh,
I was lower than that.
Top one,
That's
the
nothing.
people at the bottom got 17 wins from what they could tell.
Wow, that would have been easy.
So that's why I cut my scoring from 50 wins over to something like.
Do we know who won?
Not yet. It's gonna be later on.
Wumbo.
It took them like
What?
a whole month to tabulate the results for some reason last time.
I meant that's what I meant was the last one. Like, do we know who won the previous one?
No, they never like publicly announced.
Yeah, I wonder if it was.
I just went on the eShop and suddenly I had 1,000.
Yeah, Wumbo won.
I bought Drawful 2 with it.
Hey, cool.
Nice.
Good game. Good. I like the Jackbox games.
Yeah, I picked up Cuphead with the first, half of Cuphead, I suppose.
So we'll go back to the 15 sequence of games, just because we kind of went to the 17. 15 was not quite as off the wall as 17. 17 was like the weird. They had like the birds and beans. And
17's Underground was out of control.
I
loved it.
I loved it too.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Like 15's Underground was really safe. It was just like what Legend of Zelda, Super Metroid, and Balloon Fight.
Yep. Which
good games, but
yeah, but 17 was off the wall. But so we started out with Splatoon, which had just come out. Like it had only been out for a few weeks. And we were told we were going to play that beforehand. And I bought a copy when we heard about it. Well, I bought a copy on the way home from Chicago, knowing that it was going to be part of this thing, even though they hadn't announced it yet. Because it just made sense. But
it was obvious.
It didn't
we
matter.
had a good idea of what all the games were going to be.
Right, and it was interesting how they set up our teams for that. We didn't know our teammates were. We just had to pick a weapon. We got a Splatter Shot Junior.
Yeah.
The basic roller,
the regular, the roller, or the charger.
The charger, and like, was it 5 people or 4 people picked the roller? But 2 rollers ended up.
One team ended up having like 2 rollers.
One
team
team
was terrible.
One team had 2 rollers and one team had 0 rollers, and in the losers bracket, it was the team with 2 versus the team with 0.
Yeah.
and it was the big giant board. And we didn't. This is a brand new game. Nobody has strategy. Nobody's talking to each other. It was a kind of a crap show, and we lost. So but and you were in one of the teams with one. But it's just kind of interesting how you didn't even get to have a team, and all of a sudden you have to like get together and play as a team. I don't know how well that worked out, but
I know it was kind of like that for the Splatoon 2 thing. But that time around, we got to pick from the entire count.
Right.
So that was nice.
And it was also the tower defense, which is a lot more
competitive.
Right.
Turf War doesn't matter until the last 30 seconds of the game.
Right.
Right.
And then in the second game was Blast Ball.
Blast Ball. Listen, to its credit, that game was fun.
It was Rocket League with
a really unfortunate Nintendo release.
Yeah. I think it would have been better had it been faster, because Rocket League is great because it's so fast. But that's
not like first party Nintendo.
Yeah, just play like a slow Rocket League, and like it was so funny, like world premiere, and then they showed the game, and one person went, "Woo!"
I remember that.
In the crowd. And
something I just want to point out,
yeah.
Something that I noticed about the lineup of games for 2015 and 2017. I know it's kind of obvious, but every single game was a Nintendo first party thing.
Right.
No, because one of the games that was in my mind is possibly showing up was Puyo Puyo Tetris. But the thing is, that was Sega, so
Yep.
Sega.
I was like, I guess it can't be.
Nope.
And then it wasn't.
But they
But
dragged
I was sort of on the mark because Tetris ended up showing up in 20.
it. Did. And it was it blew me away because they had the rights to it, which I was surprised they did have the rights, but I guess they do have it available in the 3DS shop still.
Not anymore. No, they
It's-
took it down a long time ago.
Took it down again.
It's been gone for a while.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's just they had it again at all because they've never touched NES Tetris again since.
I know. I know. I
Right.
so wish they'd release that on the online service.
Yeah,
There'd be such a boom for the classic Tetris World Champion.
absolutely. We got to get you out to that one of these years
Oh, I'm not good at classic Tetris.
just to come out.
I haven't devoted a lot of manpower to it.
But you know, here's the thing: a lot of the Nintendo World Champions end up showing up there, so it's always like a reunion. I think last time what was it, 8 people there, Chris, that were
Quite a
finalists.
Yep. So
Well,
You know,
I
so-
might be willing to come through, but I'd have to get a job first before I'm going flying anywhere.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
we have connections, so keep your ears
There's that too.
keep your ears open, okay?
I will. If you want to, I will not. Though I will feel really embarrassed about it.
You know, we get you on a panel or something. That'd be amazing. So we'll go back to the lineup again. So it was
Yeah,
Blast Ball. So how did you do it? How did you do in that? Did your team win, or I remember Packy getting like the weird wild card because he made a save or something odd like that. It was
Yeah, my team was one of the winning teams.
okay. And
I clutched out like 2 scores. I was just like, wow, I can't believe it.
well, hey, I mean, and do you remember who your teammates were?
No.
You're right.
I didn't even remember you guys.
Well, I wasn't a finalist. Chris was. I wasn't. I was a finalist in '94, so many years before that.
As I say, my memory is really trash. Someone 5 times before I properly connect face and name together.
Yeah. In 2015, I was really close to being a finalist, but missed it by one virus. And then in
Oh, no.
2017, unfortunately, in 2017, I was at the locations where there was absolutely no chance against Thomas and
All the
Kyle.
Mario Kart people. Oh, you're
Oh,
in
yeah.
Thomas G's neighborhood?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that reminds me. When you guys brought me out for the Arizona panel, I had Packy in my room, obviously, and
Yeah.
we were practicing the crap out of Mario Kart 7 just for that qualifier.
Yep, absolutely.
I know. We were like spending so much time like knocking over each other's records, and it was just like so fun.
Yep.
And
yeah.
yeah,
We
I really lucked out in that qualifier, but I'm glad I was able to make it through.
you persevered, man. We had this amazing Facebook chat with about 6 or 7 of us, 15 finalists, going over all the strats, and you had it on lockdown, and you lucked out at being the first weekend before everything was sort of public.
I know.
Yeah.
But you still freaking did it, dude. So there's
I know.
and
I know, but I ended up having the worst winning time.
it evolved. It got better through the 3
Still,
weeks.
though, I never would have been able to put those times on the board in a million years.
I think had you had the time, you would have tried it. But what it's all.
Oh, I would have tried.
Yeah.
But the strat honestly wasn't that hard. Like after talking to, he put a ghost on my 3DS. I went home and was able to kind of pull it off a few times, but I wasn't consistent with it. And I was gonna practice it and go to the following week, which I think was in Houston, somewhere in Texas.
Right.
And then I found out that I don't remember who won first, if it was Kyle or Thomas. But then I found out that either Kyle or Thomas, whichever one didn't.
I
win,
think
was going to that
Kyle
one
made the
next.
flight. Yep.
Oh, and you were just
Yeah,
like, never
so I was
mind.
like, no, forget it. I'm not gonna bother.
Legend.
I will say that the 2017 qualifier was an extreme test of cardio as well,
Yes.
if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure how it was for you guys, but the line to get in was in front of the store, like outside of the store.
That's right.
And the setup was way deep in the back of the store. And this Best Buy was like built as like a narrow passageway.
Fortress.
Yeah. And so we were just running, like it had to have been like, I don't know, like the length of a city block, honestly.
Yeah.
I
We were running that after every attempt.
I love the way they set it up that time. How was the final hour or so of that? Were you in the lead, or did you take it at the very end, or how did that
I
play
took
out?
the lead about an hour and 30 minutes before it was over.
Oh, wow.
And I was trying to top it, but I couldn't. I was getting very nervous because people were getting super close. But no. And on the very, very final attempt on whoever was doing it, I was just like watching really pensively. I was like, mess up, mess up, mess up. You know, in my
Oh.
head. In my head, I didn't say it out loud.
That's good. Good.
That would be rude. But the demons in my head were just like screaming it out. I was like, die, die.
Yeah. Hey, we all do that. We all want to win.
I know. But no, I
Yeah,
was just standing there completely silent watching. I was just like, oh my God.
The location that we were groups where you had to sit outside until they were ready to bring in the next group. So you were constantly going from the back of the store all the way to the front, getting back in line, waiting, getting brought all the way into the. It was such a nightmare and took forever between rounds.
They were doing that at mine as well, but the lines petered out, so they just let us in immediately without having to wait for a group. So that's why. Okay, so you didn't have to deal with it like I literally running back and forth. Like we would get to the front, we'd have to sign the thing again and get another wristband. We'd run to the back, make our like one or two attempts, and we didn't like play it out if we made a mistake. If we messed up, we just immediately dropped it and left.
Right.
Yeah.
We're like, forget it. And so there were a lot of failed attempts, so we just kept running back and forth, just like at this ridiculous pace.
Yeah.
We were both like the three of us who were in the running were just like breathing really heavily, and it was just like a good time overall.
Did they know you? Did they like, oh shit, it's that guy?
No one. The people on the line recognized me, but not the people who were working there.
Interesting.
No, that's not true, actually. Some of the people working there did recognize me because I was approached, and they had mentioned to me that if I didn't like win the qualifier, I would have been invited to be in the crowd for the World Championships 2017.
Nice.
Probably because I live in New York.
No, well, they wanted that lineage, but that was an amazing get for them to that you were there, and that is a great. I like the way that 17 qualifier worked because they had the nice setup in the back with the stations you could play, and it actually had more than 2 staff members, and the qualifying was actually a scoreboard and not a piece of paper stuck to an end cap.
And the piece of paper was the best.
Oh man.
If you were the one on it.
My awful 4 million point score in 2015.
You were among the that was one of the higher scores, I think, because I think the 3 million was kind of like the scrub wins, like what I had. I had 297, so that was scrub
like,
tile.
You know that at the time I was putting up like really high.
Yeah.
Like a typical run for me would be in like the 6, 7, 8 million for me. So when I got 4 million, I was really nervous. I was like, completely forgetting that like no one can get 4 million.
Right.
1 million is a really good game for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Like, so for somebody to accidentally get 4 would have just no. Like,
I know, but I was worried someone who sort of knew what they were doing.
Right, I can see that. But the funny part is, I guess the legend is, you were at a Smash tournament later that evening. Rather than sticking around, you just like went to your true love and got a phone call. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool.
I mean, at the time, I didn't know that they would have allowed. I don't think they did it in New York, but I didn't know that they were letting people in for multiple attempts.
Right.
But they never allowed it in New York, I think.
What happened was one city allowed it, and word got out on Twitter. Then all of them started willing to allow it. So.
So the problem is New York is 3 hours later. So even though they did allow it, it wasn't until the last hour.
All right.
So yeah,
well, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
In our store, put a good score up on my first try.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. At our store in Torrance, California, one of the first rounds, and I was there. I didn't know some of the people that were there at the time, but one guy walked up. He's actually one of the guys that runs the Classic Tetris World Championships. He goes up and gets a 5 point whatever million, right? And I'm like, oh wow, okay, good, we
Wow,
got
5 million.
competition here. The very next round, Packy got up and hit like 5.3, just right above Vince, right? And so we're like, holy crap, this place is packed with really good players. So me and the other guy, I was there with another guy who was a 94 finalist, 1994 World Championships finalist. We were like, F this, we can't play one game and not beat 5 million. Let's play much later. And so we went over to the Starbucks and we were just practicing all day. And then we found out after the fact that people had been going through over and over, and we're like, are you kidding me? Like,
Oh
we
my
could have
God.
done this. So everybody has that same story where it was like, if only I had known, how many games did we get on the DS while we're sitting at Starbucks that would have been better than that? Sure. So it was just it was a nightmare for everybody. Unfortunately, that's what happens when they didn't anticipate that type of thing.
And
So,
that's another theme of our show is that the people that run these tournaments never anticipate the problems. And
I know.
that's a running theme all throughout. That's not Nintendo's fault. That's not it's just
I-
a fact of running a video game tournament is hard, and especially doing
understand that.
something nationwide. And the fact is, the winners all got their scores, whether they got multiple attempts or one attempt. They did get that winning score at the end, so it's I feel it's I got mine on 3 attempts, so I didn't like go over and over and over again. But it's anywho,
absolutely.
Well, they definitely learn from their mistakes because
yes,
they just let people run right back online and try again.
yes,
Yep.
and we should also say the one in Texas between Jackson Blackson and Patrick Scott Patterson. They went back and forth the entire time. Like, so they had the highest scores of the tournament, but they were in the 6 millions because they played dozens and dozens and dozens of games throughout the whole afternoon, going back and forth. And that was a very epic showdown, and I hope to get both of them on the show at some point to talk about it. But it's one of those things I would have loved to have seen in person, with Jackson winning in the end. But that would have been that's the way that's competition. That's the good stuff, not the weird one and done sort of deal.
Yeah, and one of the nice things is that Torrance really wasn't impacted by that because with Packy's score, he got it
Yeah,
the round right after Vince, and then nobody ever beat that score.
yeah,
So,
Nice. I'm
Yeah,
glad
I
I was
can't-
able to put up a long-standing score.
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I just walked in. I was one of the first people up there, and that was all she wrote, I guess. Like, I was one of the first, 20 people to get in.
Did you camp
And
out?
I was like, okay, I guess I'm done for the day. Let's leave.
Yeah.
And then I got the call. I was like, yes.
Did you camp out?
No, I went to my tournament.
Oh, you just
I went to a Smash
No,
Bros.
the night before.
in the morning.
The night.
Oh, no. I got there like an hour before, and there weren't that many people there.
Really weird.
Yeah, there weren't people camping.
Yeah, there was in Chicago. Ugh. First time I ever camped out in
Oh,
a
yeah.
parking lot, and it rained, and they turned off the lights in the parking lot. It was kind of like terrible experience if the result wasn't so great.
Yeah, I know that Torrance had a line. I mean, we got there really early, and the line went around the entire building and
Yep.
through the back. It was like a nice 2-hour wait just to get your first game in when I got there an hour ahead. So
I know that eventually the line got long, but it did not start long. That's for sure.
but
That's
Yeah.
interesting. We talked about Dr. Mario Chains. We talked about
I have a good question.
yeah,
what's that?
So if Nintendo does another Nintendo World Championships, hopefully they do next year. Something that's a quick first-party Nintendo. What could it be?
So here's the problem with this. Whenever it comes to figuring out that type of thing, the finals will always be something brand new because they want to show something off, right?
No, I mean the qualifying
Right,
game.
no, I know.
Oh.
That one's easy. That one, we can't really know, obviously. But when it comes to the qualifier, that's when it gets interesting, right? So what the question that you're asking is actually a very interesting question because that's kind of theory crafting what it is that's popular, exciting, that anybody can kind of walk up and play. Because
And
like with
quick.
Mario Kart, and yeah, absolutely, and
And the
like
Nintendo
quick,
World Championships remix. I don't think an amalgamation of Mario 1, Mario 3, and Dr. Mario was the hot ticket on everyone's plate that year.
I do agree with that, but at that point they were looking for a recreation of what they did back in the 90s, right? And they got away from that with the Mario Kart qualifier, which tells me, and this is exactly where I'm going with that.
Ooh.
They're no longer going to be looking at it as, well, we need to kind of imitate what we did back then. Because if you look at 90, they played the same game all the way through. It was always the cart, right? In 94, they did the cart until they switched it to the hot new thing, which was Donkey Kong, right? So they did Donkey Kong Country for the finals in 94. 2015,
Really?
what?
I didn't know that.
Yes, yes. So that was the finals game, right? So you can see there's an evolution as they're going through. Then for 2015, they're using the cart only for the qualifiers, then an exciting finals that had nothing to do with the cart. So 2017, they got away from that style of gameplay entirely and said, let's just do Mario Kart, which is anybody can walk up and play Mario Kart. So that makes it no barrier for entry, right?
So you think they're going to do something more modern for this?
Yes,
Yep.
exactly. That's exactly right.
So with that in mind, what do you think?
Well, see, now that I've gone through that, I'm going to turn this back on you and say, what do you think is the right type of game? If you think about it from that perspective, the evolution of how they've done it, what would you say would be a good qualifying game for Nintendo to put? Let's assume it's going to be on Switch.
There's a difference between good and likely, but if I had to take a wild guess, and I understand the logic behind it being something modern or something like that, but there is a Nintendo Switch Online NES library sitting right there.
Yes, there is.
Perfect to be picked from, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to pick something modern, I didn't even think about that. Like, what are the modern hot games on the Switch right now? Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. Well, let me think of every derivative game then, in that case, that could have feasibly a score attack. If it were Super Mario Odyssey, I guess, but that was the final game of the last Nintendo World Championships, but that could be it, if you really think about it.
I think if they did one right now, the new upcoming Link's Awakening remake would probably would be in there somewhere.
Some kind of time attack mode?
Some sort of mini game within that game.
If there's a mini game, because otherwise, because they won't be able to like reset the save file every time.
They would have they would have a flash ROM or game save or something like that.
Yeah, you're right.
They did with the other virtual console games.
My initial guess, I just thought of this as like an interesting one, though I don't think it's going to be super likely now that you gave me your whole like dissertation on this.
That's what I do.
It's going to be the Arcade Archives Donkey Kong game.
That would be amazing.
There is a caravan mode in there
that
gives you a 5-minute score attack.
That's right.
Wow. I was thinking that would be the challenge.
Yep.
It's very short. It's first party. It's Nintendo history.
Yep.
That could be such a good choice. But given what you said, it would more likely be something they'd probably use like a handheld timer in that case to make us do Donkey Kong on NES or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
If I were going to take a real guess, I would say something on the NES offerings because they're there now.
Interesting.
But if I'm going to pick a modern game, oh my God, how about Yoshi's Crafted World?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played it to know what you could do in there for a score attack. But if there's
probably be speed run.
No, forget that. Yoshi always has like a finite high score that you can get. That can't be it.
Right. So that's what I was going to say. Is usually it's something like that. But what I think we would need to do is we would look at, because obviously I do think that we're going to be coming up on. It's way too late for them to do one now, but we have to take a look at what they're going to be launching at E3 and figure out what it is that would make sense for that style of gameplay.
Not necessarily, because remember, 2017 Mario Kart 7, and by that point Mario Kart 8 was already done being the new hotness,
right?
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, but there's also the convenience of running the tournament on 3DSs. You can't overstate that, because everything is contained right there. You know, they can lock down just that single device. And I think that Mario Kart 7, right? That's very true. Yeah. So I think that's why they chose Mario Kart 7 over 8, is because it was really easy to lock down the devices. And
Of
now
course,
with
they didn't
Switch,
have
that
to
opens
get
it up.
Switch.
Yes, exactly. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see what they choose to do this time. I don't think it'll be Mario Kart
No,
for Switch.
I
Like,
do
there's
have a
no
guess
chance.
now, though.
What is it? Let's
I
hear
don't
it.
know what in the game they would pick, but my guess right now would be Super Mario Party. In that case, there
I
are
could see
modes
that.
where you can play multiple games at once, and there could be some kind of timer score attack for that.
If they have something like that, that would fit in my quality to be something that you can just walk up to and play. It's like without being really good at a specific thing. You know
right,
what I
and
mean?
remember, it has to be sufficiently short.
Right, exactly. So
They
that does fit the idea.
They could also go back to Odyssey. If you 1990, Super Mario Brothers was the first game, and that was a 5-year-old game at that point. So
That's
that
correct.
was old news.
Oh,
So
Really, 6-year-old,
yeah, they could go back to a classic that everybody who's played a Switch has played, and I'm sure
Hold
there's
on a moment. 5-year-old game,
yeah
Super Mario Maker.
That's a good point too.
yeah
That's going to be 5 years old in 2020.
put up a brand new stage nobody's played for each. That'd be kind of cool actually.
It'd
And
be
one
something
that you
like-
can't download.
It'd be speed run, but that's cool too because that's the way to play those games honestly, competitively.
It would be interesting because by then Mario Maker 2 should be.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
So you could easily see them putting out a course that you can't download so that you can't go home and practice it, but you could play it there the whole time.
Yep.
And anybody can walk up and play a Mario game. It's just the best players would rise to the top.
You know what?
So
We don't need Nintendo. Let's open up our own damn tournament.
let's start our own thing, right?
We need that top billing, so Nintendo with it.
Well, to their credit,
at some point I'm going to be making a tweet with the Nintendo World Championships logo, and I edited the year to be 2020 and just saying when.
right? Yeah.
America.
Yeah, please. Yeah, in 2015, to their credit, they grabbed me. Well, I mean specifically, and I always forget his name. Apologies for this, but the guy who was
Eric.
who was pretty much Eric. Yeah, exactly. The guy who kind of pretty much put the whole tournament together grabbed me, Trey, and a couple of the other, because they had us all sitting in the front row back then, like a bunch of the finalists from 90 and 94, and said,
Right.
hey, talk to us about what you think of this particular tournament, what we could have done better, how we could have fixed this. And we had really good conversations, and we saw some of that stuff, not all of it, but we saw some of that implemented in 2017. So I do think that they listen to the feedback seriously. So without a doubt, like let's do that. Let's have a little campaign where we give Nintendo our feedback on what we think would work. I mean, it's unfortunate that Eric has left Nintendo since then, which is his last
Peterson?
name was Peterson, right? Yeah.
I know that guy.
Yeah, he was the guy that pretty much he was the guy, the brain behind the tournament, from my understanding.
I probably did meet him then. But
Yeah,
as
he
I
was
said,
he was in the commercials too with Reggie. He was one of the executives in the room. So if you go back and watch that commercial, but
if I saw his face, I'd probably remember. But as I
Yeah.
said, my memory.
JC ran the 17. JC Dotface on Twitter. I forget his full name again, but I just remember JC Dotface because it's a funny name.
Nice.
But he made sure I got a front row in 17, which I'm thankful for. And just so you know, I rode the freaking bus from Ohio to New York City just to watch you in the finals, John. So I had to be there. I had to see it in person, and I left right after it was over. It was just one of those. I went to New York for the first time ever. Saw you do your thing. You know, you were that close, but I think
you didn't even walk around Times Square or anything?
I did a little bit. I went to the Nintendo store. I looked at the Empire State Building. I went to Video Games New York, did some shopping there. But
Nice.
I had about 5 hours, so that's what I did, and I got sweaty because it was gross that day. But
Oh yeah, it was a nice hot day that day.
it was pretty bad for October too. But I don't know where I was going with this, but you know, it was. I'm glad that I was there, and I'm glad we have this link between the new guys, which is you guys. I'm sort of a new guy, but I'm the link between the new and the old, and that's why we're all sitting here now, and it's kind of beautiful. That's all I got to say about that.
I feel like I'm a link between the new and the old too.
You were like we'll talk about that. Talk about hanging out with those kids. Like, I talked to Paste Cat over the weekend. We were in Milwaukee doing a panel together, and right after 17, I watched one of his videos, and he was talking about how like it was great that you and him were like talking to the kids because they're the next generation coming up. And did that any of that kind of dawn on you in the moment, or did you just how were you soaking that in at the time? Sorry,
I wasn't.
you weren't. Okay,
I just saw other gamers, honestly.
well, that's a good way.
I was like, wow, these kids are really young. I hope I don't accidentally step on them. No, I
Right.
didn't think that.
You did in
No, I didn't
Splatoon.
think anything special about it.
No,
I was
okay,
just like, if I saw a kid, I was just like, okay, he's one of the kids from the young division.
right.
Cool.
Were you shocked
But
to learn that you played against him directly?
What's up?
Were you shocked when you heard that you played against him directly?
That I was a little. No, I wasn't. Okay, I was surprised about it, but not at the time that you think. The moment they announced the age division thing, I immediately put it together that there would be 24 people in the total tournament.
Right.
And I was like, oh, they're going to make us all play together. So that was when I realized it, not when they told us we'll be playing together.
Oh wow. Well, you figured it out. Did anybody else figure that out, or was it known?
I mean, it had to have been, because think about it like this. We would have had 8 people from old, 8 people from young, and then 8 wild cards in the invitees.
Right.
And there'd be no way to separate them. Like, you can't just separate the invitees into their own bracket. They'd have to be part of, the old person bracket. But that doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know. My fit was just, oh, we're all fighting together. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, the invitee thing worked really well in 15 for different reasons, right? So that was still the heyday of YouTube. And by 17, it was kind of starting to die off already. So I don't think that they saw a big enough return on their investment with that influencer community. And I think that that's why they got rid of it. They probably would have designed the tournament around it if they had still wanted to do that.
Got rid of what?
The influencers.
They had those in 17.
Mm-hmm. No, there were invitees in 2017.
Yeah, there were 8 invitees, and there was like a WWE wrestler. What's Asa Butterfield, who's like an actor, and then like Pace.
You're
like
right. Oh, I remember now. Yeah,
because 8 invitees was what tipped me off that the old and young kids would be playing together in the same tournament.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna edit that part out. Yeah, I completely spaced that. I have no idea why. It's so weird. Yeah, you're right. I completely forgot. Yeah, I think I was remembering that I had told myself it wasn't all YouTube guys this time. I think that's where I was getting that
more
from.
more speedrunners than YouTubers.
Yeah, which makes a lot more sense because
I want the Ego Raptor to come back.
Yeah, that he was pretty great. Like he was like the biggest star in the room in 15. Like that 5 seconds he was ahead in Mario Kart, the whole place erupted in cheers.
Dude. That whole minute he was ahead in Balloon Fight.
Yeah.
He was gonna make top 4.
He was
gonna freaking make top 4, but he just missed out.
Well, Narcissa. I mean, that performance was.
No, I'm happy for Narcissa for making it. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah.
Ego.
Right. Well, go back to Ego. Like he was the biggest star in that room, and he couldn't have been nicer. Like he could have had the biggest ego and blown everybody off and tell them that you whatever. But he talked to everybody, he took pictures of everybody. I still talk to him on occasion. Like great. I like that's what you hoped for with that sort of thing. And he just could have been a total asshole, and he totally wasn't. And I respect the hell out of him for the way he dealt with all that. And then getting to Narcissa, like the whole Cosmo Narcissa thing, but
let's just use Narcissa.
Yeah, let's just use Narcissa. You're right, but like she nearly got knocked out like 2 or 3 times. It's like she got out of the underground. She was behind in Smash Brothers and came back in that second round, and then
that's fine.
And then like she looked totally lost in the first Mario Maker round, but then came back and won a second round. So like it just kept it was. Knock down, get back up again. Knock down, get back up again. And like the only thing that really was the decider is the fact that you could wall jump and she couldn't. So
I know.
kind of sad, but I don't think I could wall jump at the time. I'd never played the new Super Mario Brothers game, so I wouldn't have been any better had I made it that far. So, but
I know those levels didn't have teaching tools in them, so there was no way to know.
no,
It's not. It wasn't like a traditional Mario game where it's like, here's how you wall jump.
right? Nor should it have.
You better know how to wall jump,
No,
asshole.
yeah. So,
Hey,
go ahead.
I actually really liked the Mario Maker levels that they did. I thought they were really creative. I thought
Yeah.
it was exciting to watch. And the next day at E3, right after the tournament happened, they did a little thing where you could they were trying to get people to actually try those stages at E3.
Yeah,
And so they had people going up and trying to clear any one of them, and they would give you really cool 25th anniversary gold coins. And so I get over there and I see the people are doing it, and I still had on my my Nintendo World Championships jacket and everything, right? So I yell out, "Hey, let an old finalist go!" And they're like, yeah, get up here. And so I ended up winning the coins because of it. So like, I just thought that those levels were absolutely amazing. It was a lot of fun to play in front of everybody. And you know, to be fair, I had already gotten a chance to see it when you guys went through the levels, but I can't even imagine how much fun you must have had on a level that nobody's ever seen. You're just experimenting real time, scared to death that the person on the other side of you is going faster by just that little bit. Like, tell me a little bit about what you mindset was going through those levels.
Man,
If you remember.
I was thinking really hard about this. I mean, let me think about this. On the very first level, I went through it as best as I could, and I did. And I got to the point with the conveyors, and I didn't immediately jump on them because I wasn't 100% sure that I needed to use them to progress.
Right.
So I start going this way, and then I see the arrows, and then I also hear the commentators say,
Yep.
"Oh, I guess he doesn't know," and I'm like, "Oh," so I turn back and immediately start using the conveyors. And I don't know, there wasn't too much thought into it. I literally just picked up on cues in and out of game. On the second one, the Mario 3 one, I just messed up badly. In Mario World, like, I can't say anything. I'm used to playing, how do I put this? I've played a couple of games, or at least watched a couple of videos of people who've made like fan-made Mario levels and stuff like that.
right. Kaizo.
So I know like these kind of like jerk tricks that could be put in. And I was sort of like half expecting them after like the first 5 seconds of World 1-1. I was like, oh, these are the kinds of levels we're going to have to play. So I was just like keeping my eyes open for, you know, like troll design, or, you know, troll design light. But
right.
And there it was. I was like, okay, let me just, ooh, what is this? And on the final one, on the very final level, like, it was the same. I was like, okay, let me do my stuff like that. Ooh, this is pretty tough, stuff like that. And I was really far ahead, but I didn't realize it when I was playing through the level because I was doing it and I was focusing super hard. I did glance at Narcissa's screen because I was able to.
Right.
And I saw she was still on the first screen, but I didn't have a sense. It didn't really like register in my mind how far behind she was when I looked. I was like, she's still in the first room, back to my game. Not, oh my God, I'm going to win. Just, okay.
Yeah.
And the Bowser fight was kind of anticlimactic too. It was just kind of once you weren't even sure it was over yet after you beat Bowser, right? Is that...
Yes, because I was still expecting some kind of troll level design like, oh yes, I hit the axe, but oops, here comes Bowser 2.0. There was no way to know the first time playing it that hitting the axe absolutely unequivocally ends the level no matter what happens.
Right.
I didn't know that when I was first playing the game. Just like I didn't know I had to touch the ticker tape on Super Mario World to end the level. If you remember that.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, both, I rewatched it. I saw it from both me and Narcissa. Like, we got to the end of the level and we got it, and then we made a face because we didn't finish the level just by passing through the gate. Narcissa made the face, and then I was like, yeah. And then I got it.
Because you didn't go head to head on that. You were blind. One person was blindfolded. The first 3 levels, they to show off the gameplay on one screen so you couldn't be focused on two different things to distract you. They made you go one at a time. The only actual race was the new Super Mario Brothers level at the very end. But you know,
I just saw that when I rewatched it, the Mario World thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was only a race on the final level. I just found that funny though that we both made the face on Mario World's like end level.
So
did you play on the actual on the Wii U screen, or did you play on the monitor they provided?
I think I used the monitor. There wasn't any lag, so I don't think there was any lag. So
oh god, yes, there was some lag. I think that's the reason I won the Zelda race.
if there was lag, then I would have used the gamepad screen.
However,
yeah, the gamepad screen was fantastic. So
Mario Maker lag isn't the same as Virtual Console lag. Virtual Console lag was horrendous. And I think the reason I won was the fact that I was actually looking at my little screen rather than the monitor. I think that's the only. I think that's what's because the Mexican runner is freaking amazing at that stuff, and there's just no way I would have beat him in a fair fight.
I felt so bad for him dying on that one.
Yeah,
I was like, this is his game. This is his series.
Yeah. I didn't die. That's the only reason I won, and I was used to playing with.
We're the only one who didn't die.
That's it. That's all I had to do. But I played on the screen rather than the monitor. And if you go back to the Disney show, you see the angle where I'm looking at that and everybody else is looking at the monitor, and it's like that had to be it. That's the only explanation. But I'm glad that lag thing came up. But but you're right. The Mario Maker lag wasn't as big of a deal as the Virtual Console lag. But still, the Wii U is such a terrible, like a great concept, terrible execution.
Man, that screen was amazing though. There was very low latency on the gamepad screen.
You know what has low latency? The Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Yep. But Virtual Console on the Wii U was just atrocious. But anyway, that's my only.
I know.
So let's go to 2017 when they got stuck with Mario Maker again, because I don't remember exactly how it was. It wasn't it was like the final 3, right? When you play Mario Maker. And it was like the winner got to advance to the final 2 and the losers, but you just like blew right through it, and like the commentators are almost pissed at you at how well you did. do you remember that particular level?
What'd you say?
Do you remember that particular level?
I remember it.
Did you want to elaborate at all, or just you're like whatever? It was nothing.
It was. I mean, at that point, I had like 1 or 2 years of Mario Maker experience in the pocket, in the bank.
So is everybody else, you know.
I mean, we don't actually know if those two had actually played Mario Maker like a lot, you know? Like I played it a lot. Yeah. Is what I'm getting at. And I just got like accustomed to all the tricks and stuff. It's like, yes, this is how I get through it. Like there's no way I would have made that like crouch jump on my first try if I never played the game for a while.
That's the thing. Like if you were playing some of the custom levels, like the Pengu levels and stuff like that, the stuff. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, either way, if you've been playing a lot of that stuff, I'm sure that it makes it a lot easier because you've seen those tricks used before. So
yeah, just a lot of expert and super expert runs.
Got it.
But you handled it beautifully. Did you even die in that one? No.
No
wow.
one did.
No one did. Oh, it was.
Yeah, that level was put together that you couldn't really die.
It was just you go back and retry the challenge again type of situation.
Yeah.
Right.
The final level. The race level in 2015 was like that. It looked dangerous, but there was no way to die.
Right.
Except
So let's talk about. Did you have like a moment of glory that sticks out in your brain that you replay over and over again in your head, that you go back and watch the video over and over again? Like what's your biggest glorious moment in either of these two tournaments?
I don't have one.
You don't have one?
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's say we're gonna make a movie about championship moments, right? What would you put in the trailer? Like what moment in the video would
probably? I mean, there's not really a moment, but probably the 8-player Smash battle in 2017, because I had a stupidly high score by the end of that. It was ridiculous, just because I obviously had a lot of experience with Smash Bros. And just like, wow, this is fun. I ended up with like, what was it? I had like plus 13 by the end of it. Ito had plus 5, and everyone else was in the minus.
Wow.
Right.
I was just like, okay.
So speaking of Smash, one of my little pet theories is there was the final. It was the final four, and you were two of you were going to go to the final two, and it was
2015.
this is 2015. So that it's you, Trihex, Mad Mage,
And
and
Narcissa.
Narcissa. You were well ahead of everybody else. Did you know in your head that Mario Maker was going to be the finals, one and two?
No.
And so here my pet theory is: did you deliberately go after Trihex so that you didn't have to face him in the final two?
Oh no, absolutely not.
No.
Well, the first thing is I didn't even know what the last game was going to be. Some people, and I was like, it could be, I guess. But even if I did know that, I wouldn't have gone after because, well, the main reason being I completely forgot he was a speedrunner. So there's no strategy on that. But secondly, I wouldn't target for. Well, actually, would I target if I knew that?
I would hope so. You play to win.
I did rewatch it, and Trihex was the one using who? Toon Link, or was he?
I forget. He was in second place after round one. That's why I was wondering if you were going after him in round two to try to bring somebody else with you into the finals. But
Regardless, I didn't target anyone specifically. I kind of went after Falco a lot because he was shooting lasers from across the screen, and that was really obnoxious.
I think that was Mad Mage. I think he knew that he was in a lion's den. He was just shooting projectiles.
Shooting lasers doesn't win games like that.
No,
so it's just like, this is annoying.
That's helpless. that's pretty much what I would have done. I would have pounded the ground Donkey Kong or some crap.
Pounding the ground would have been better because you don't get kills if you just shoot the laser with Falco.
But so that was my pet theory. I didn't think so, but it was just something I thought of over the years.
I'll keep it in mind for the next event.
Just for the next one when you're in the final four and like you're targeting who you want to bring. It's like a damn reality show, which is how these play out anyway. Like who do I want to bring in with me to the final two? Yeah.
Honestly speaking, if in the final four Ego Raptor was there, I would have done everything in my power to get him into the final round. Like I would have tried. The first priority would have been me winning, but anytime I was, because there's a strategy for this. If you want to like prop someone up,
right?
If you're about to die, you can deliberately take the hit from the person you want to win.
Wow. Yeah.
And decide who your point is going to go to.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to die no matter what, but I can decide who gets the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
makes sense.
Ego Raptor aside, there is a strategy for that because if I know who's winning or who isn't winning, I will deliberately let someone who's losing kill me and try not to get even higher.
Makes sense.
I know that's kind of like advanced stuff, but
no, that's amazing stuff. Do you use that in team tournaments or? I mean, I know the Smash scene is mostly one-on-one stock games.
Doubles is dead in Ultimate.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No one likes playing doubles in this game for some reason, but we have Squad Strike, so whatever. Everyone loves Squad Strike.
So we didn't get to this. You were also a finalist in the North American Open that just happened a couple weeks ago. So tell me how that went down.
Tell me how that went down. Okay.
Or tell us. I mean, I'm sure.
Well, they brought us out for a whole 4 nights, which was amazing.
Wow.
That's the entirety of PAX. I didn't get a super lot of time to go around the show floor, which was a bit of a shame because I wanted to like see some of the booths, and I wanted to see what's his name, James Rolfe at the Cinemassacre booth for a little bit and just say hi again. And yeah, most of it was like rehearsals and me being really tired because they woke us up at like 8 in the morning, and I was like, oh, time to go to sleep. I'm time for a midday nap. So I was like, no time for show floor. I spent a lot of time at like a competition thing. They were doing like these little like sign up brackets for like 16 people, and those were fun. I got second place in 2 of them.
Nice.
You know, to go along with my silver from the Northeast Open and a Nintendo World Championship 2017.
Right.
I know, I was the king of silver that weekend. That was kind of disappointing. As far as the competition itself, we had our rehearsals, and that was really good. They had catered lunches and dinners for us on some of the days. And the competition itself was really fun. And, you know, I was kind of really upset that we lost. And because we had, on the very final round, I'm not sure how much you realize, but we had a lot of a lot of bad luck on the final round for ourselves.
Yeah.
There were just good items spawning for the opponent. Anytime we had something, we dropped it immediately from the opponent hitting us. It was just like a complete mess. But on top of that, there was also the one moment when Nintendo messed up the rules, and that resulted in our death. I'm not sure if you caught this one. This was when we were fighting Sweet Tea's team. What happened was we had, what's his name? Who was on our team? Seth, fighting Sweet Tea's. I'm not sure if it was their weakest player, but that wasn't their strongest player. And we ended up going to Gerudo Valley, which was a walk-off stage, which they said on the outset that this wasn't going to be a legal stage because they took feedback and they didn't want walk-off stages. You know walk-off stages, right? Where you can just
tell the viewers, yeah.
walk all the way into the blast zone, and that's bad because people will just stand there and try to get back throws at 0%.
Right.
And it was legal, but on top of that, they accidentally left the hazards on. So we had the two like witches in the background shooting the stage as well. And what happened was a good item spawned for the opponent that happened to be super lethal because we were on a walk-off stage.
Oh, wow.
And because of that, we went down 0-1. Our other guy made it 1-1, and then I messed up. But the thing is, if it were played normally, I wouldn't have had the chance to mess up first and foremost, but we would have just won 2-0 straight. And we wouldn't have been put into the situation where we had to be double eliminated, where we were going to be double eliminated by Rat's team. So I wasn't super miffed about the bad RNG in the final round. I was miffed because we only had one chance to get screwed over by the RNG in the final round. If things played out normally, we would have had 2 attempts to beat Rat's team. So there would have been less, deviation on the results. In all likelihood, they probably still would have won, but still, I wanted my fair shot.
That's rough.
It is. I still had a good time, though. They treated us really well. Gold Trinit again, although I didn't get to talk with him a lot this time around. He seemed kind of busy. I was like, "Where's Reggie?" I didn't ask where Reggie was, but I noticed there was no Reggie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
I was like, "Where's Reggie?"
What did you?
So do you go to? Okay.
What's that?
You go ahead.
No, because I was going to change the subject. You go ahead.
Whatchamacallit? Yeah, no, it was just like, there's no Reggie. He's going to retire soon. This is to meet the man. I only saw him in person for like a few seconds in 2017. So
Yeah.
I never really talked to him or anything.
And 15, it's like we ate lunch in that little room in the basement of the Microsoft Theater.
Same thing.
And
I saw him there.
Yeah,
there's Reggie.
Well, and Miyamoto was at the next table over, but he was with his kids or wife or family. Like, we're not going to interrupt his damn lunch with his family. So, I was hoping to get a cartridge signed by him, and I couldn't get one because he was gone as soon as he was there. But
Understandable.
But it's just one of those things like, wow, that was my one chance, and it's gone. But the
biggest thing I was concerned about that year was where Iwata was.
Yeah.
I know at the time we just didn't know. It's just like, where's Iwata?
Yeah. Well, that was.
And then we found out. I felt really awful about it then.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I'm glad we got to play Balloon Fight for that purpose too.
I know.
That was a nice little tribute that we didn't know about till after the fact. So we did the one. I don't know now. I was gonna like I guess what celebrities, like, or maybe not celebrities, but what Nintendo personalities that you've met at these things has really stuck with you? Like, have you got any? Are they just kind of like, oh, it's John Numbers again? I mean, are you like a household name within it? Because it's kind of strange that you only have like 10 people come on your streams. Like, you ought to be a damn household name by now.
I mean, I think I kind of like squandered the opportunity because when I first started streaming right after the Nintendo World Championship, 40 viewers, and that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got really burnt out and didn't want to stream for 2 years straight. So by the time I came back, I was averaging like 10, 20 viewers. I mean, you guys said you get dozens of viewers on your podcast, right?
Well, we're on the coattails of this classic Tetris World Championships, so we get that residual crowd. So but those are good people. Jonas is awesome. Trey's awesome. So
let's go, Jonas. I know. I wish I could get some more popularity on my streams, but I don't know how to do that. So,
well, plug your stream for now. What is your Twitch?
John Numbers with no space.
It's easy enough to remember. John Numbers. Yeah, guys, follow John Numbers on there. Show him some love.
I play modern Nintendo games,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes classic.
Nice.
So here's a dumb question. Not a dumb question. This is a great question. Where's the name Numbers come from?
Oh, can you hear me clearly right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I just saw my, okay. The name John Numbers doesn't really come from anywhere specific. When I was like 10 years old or something, I really liked newgrounds.com. So I made an account and I was like, okay, the name John is probably taken. Let me just type some numbers at the end of this. So I went with John12346. And I sort of made that my master username for a really long time. Like even in Smash tournaments, I signed up as John12346.
Yeah.
And eventually someone said, this is really stupid. Why don't you call yourself John Numbers? And I didn't do it immediately, like at any point during the Brawl scene. But, I eventually quit the Brawl scene because Meta Knight was ruining the whole thing. I'm sure you know that Meta Knight was just like this unbeatable force that drove away a lot of players. I was one of them. Eventually, I tried my hand at some other 2D fighting game tournaments like Skullgirls and Marvel 3. Mm-hmm. And they were like, what's your tag? And I'm like, John Numbers. So that's when it started. And then I entered PM tournaments and Smash 4 tournaments. Like, I'll stick with John Numbers. So there wasn't anything like special about it. Someone just told me my name is stupid.
No, it's great. Well, like the previous one was stupid. The new one's great. That's legendary.
Yeah,
it's
346. John 12346.
Oh yeah.
Well,
do you go to any other majors for fighting games? Still play any other fighting games?
No, I don't. I was just dipping my foot into some locals because I wasn't playing Brawl and I was kind of twiddling my thumbs waiting for Smash 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, hey, let me see. I actually have some experience with Marvel 3 and Skullgirls, and I did pretty well. I beat every random, so that was nice. I was the king of the randoms.
King of the randos.
But then I got the first person who knew what they were doing.
Have you gone to EVO in the past? Like for Smash?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I've done EVO a couple of times to play Smash, and I did not do very well.
Oh, gotcha.
That was because DLC was out.
You made a few rounds. I remember that year in 15, right when you were at the height of your popularity. You weren't expected to win, but like they put you front and center, and you won some rounds. I mean, it wasn't like.
Did you get out of pools?
No.
Got it. Yeah. EVO is rough. EVO is very rough. Yeah. I was in the Arizona crew. I mean, I wasn't. I suck at Smash, but I know all of those Wobbles and Taj and all of those guys. So it was always interesting to see them at EVO and just like watch them railroad through all of these people and get to like. I mean, I think the highest that anybody from AZ, and somebody from AZ can correct me because I know you're going to see this, but I think the highest that anybody ever placed was in third or second. So not bad for AZ, but yeah, man, that competition that it just spikes so hard at EVO where it's just like, yeah, I can beat all my friends, but once I go to EVO, man, that's where it gets rough.
Explode.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, very cool.
I was about to say something, but now I've forgotten, so I guess it doesn't matter too much.
Well, if you remember, we can always edit it in.
Okay.
All right, so I guess we should probably change gears just a little bit, and let's talk just a little bit. Well, all right, so we've already kind of established what the streaming thing goes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about like what you've been doing since, like what are the kind of games that you gravitate towards these days? Like, are you still playing kind of the competitive thing, or it sounds like you've been playing a lot of the more casual games that have been released on Switch? Tell us about that. What do you play on your stream?
Oh, I mean, on my stream, I don't really play Smash, but that's because I hate playing competitive games online. They make me feel all kinds of awful emotions, and I'm just not trying to be part of that.
Right.
So let me just put it this way. I don't really have any other hobbies other than gaming. Like, if I'm at home, I'll look for jobs and game. I'll stream usually, and I'll go out, but those are to go to Super Smash Brothers tournaments. So,
right.
But yeah, when I'm streaming, I don't really do anything super hyper competitive. Like, I'll do viewer battles in Smash Bros. Once in a while, but I make it very clear that I don't like doing it, and I'll usually stick to other games like Mario Kart or Puyo Puyo Tetris or something like that.
What
If I'm
about
trying
Tetris 99? Do you stream that?
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah. See,
Well,
we'll get you
there
some
though.
viewers just based on that. The Tetris crew is going to want to see what you do in Tetris 9. Awesome.
And yeah, what kind of games do I stream? The main ones that I've been streaming are Smash Ultimate, Mario Kart once in a while, Puyo Puyo Tetris. I've been streaming a ton of Splatoon lately, just because I love Splatoon. Tetris 99 is definitely up there, and then I just stream like other odds and ends that happen to come up. Like I recently got Cuphead. I'm gonna be probably playing that the next time I stream.
Nice.
I played I play a lot of platformers. I noticed like Celeste and Slime Sand. And let me just grab this little Switch device over here and check.
It's a good way to do it, right? And just how easy is it to figure out what games you're playing by looking at the library?
Yeah, let me see this. Whatchamacallit? I've been playing Puyo Puyo eSports, Shovel Knight as well. I recently picked up again because it's the Switch, and I'm just like, yes, come and get it.
Nice.
Sonic Mania, Puzzle Bobble. I'm gonna get on Ukulele at some point. Downwell's another game that I played, as well as Arcade Archives Donkey Kong.
Yep.
And
I like that you play those old stuff. That's cool.
yeah, there's also V and Cave Story and Arcade Archives Neo Geo Money Puzzle Exchanger.
Oh yeah.
Things like that. It's mostly just puzzle games and platformers. I would say those are my two strongest, those are definitely my two strongest genres, for sure.
Where do you keep your trophy?
It's over there on the bookcase.
You got to show it to us. We got to see the trophy on the stream.
Fine.
This is the compilation you need to put together. The supercut of our podcast is every competitor showing off their trophy.
Showing their trophy. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
15 friggin' pounds.
Wow.
I remember you holding that thing up barely above your head on stage.
Yeah, I remember that.
Your arm was getting so tired.
It's like
Here we
Look,
go.
there it is.
I'm about to drop it on my computer.
Beautiful. Not an amiibo, by the way. We
Awesome.
checked.
I know.
yeah, it should have been.
It really should have been. Okay. And I also have the medal from 2017. This thing is
Oh,
heavy.
nice.
This is way heavier than it has any right to be.
That looks awesome.
The color doesn't come through very well. Is that silver?
Yeah, I mean, it's silver plated.
Okay, so that was.
Are you making fun of him again for the silver thing?
No, I
Like,
couldn't. I was.
This thing's really heavy, though. Around my neck, I was just like, wow, my neck's actually going to break.
Nice.
Like, this is like 2 pounds.
Wow.
So that was the second
Solid.
place medal then, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, now the other stuff that you've won, like the 3DSs that signed, you have those like you don't play those, right? Those are stored and
No, it's in a box
okay, yeah.
waiting to be boxed or sold.
Like I'll just
Right.
keep everything, dude. Like everything. Like
I'll keep the trophy forever and ever because this is mine and no one can have it. But the 3DS, I don't have too much of an attachment to, even though I love Miyamoto.
well,
I
that's
probably won't sell it though.
no, that's what I'm
No.
saying. Don't play it. Just keep it. It'll be worth something in a museum someday. So I'm just saying that. And
In
There-
a museum.
hey, there are video game museums that would buy that stuff gladly from you.
I mean,
That's
There-
what
I
there-
display
there's
I display my stuff like a museum. Trust me, I'd love to have that DS.
all right. I'll give it to you for $50.
Done.
wow,
My,
John,
my-
John, up your price a bit, dude. You live in New York City.
Yeah, right. 55. We'll talk.
But like
Yeah, I mean,
the shirt, like all that stuff, man. It's gonna be worth something someday, if not already today. So I'm just getting you advice to keep it all. So
I know. I'm going to keep it no matter what, unless I deliberately get rid of it. I'm not going to like lose it or anything.
no, okay, good.
Yeah.
Take care of it. Keep good. Just making sure.
yeah, you're talking to the people who love to preserve history, so of course we're going to push
I
it in
can
that
see that
direction.
in your backgrounds.
Right, exactly. So, very
Mine
cool.
is not much. I have a shelf with a bunch of amiibo on it, and that's about it.
Well, this has been awesome. Very insightful. I'm glad that had a chance to reconnect the two 2015 finalists on this panel. Previously, it had been, when it came to the 94, this is kind of the same dynamic of when we had Mike Iorosi on here,
Right.
where I was a finalist and he was the champion. Now you're the champion and Chris is the finalist. So this is kind of cool to have that come full circle.
Nice.
It's been a real pleasure talking to you, and we look forward to kind of seeing what comes next, and hopefully we'll see you in the finals of 2020.
If there is one, you better make it this time. I want to see you in
tell me
person.
about it. Ah, man, I'm so bugged that I didn't get in there. You know who was really bugged was Mike Iorosi. He really wanted to be in 2015 so that he could say that he's the only person to be in all three of the Nintendo World Championships finals.
Oh, the official. He was in 90?
He was a finalist in 90. He was the winner of 94, and then he came this close to being a finalist in.
That's my fault, by the way.
Yeah, Chris bumped him out of that slot.
Well, if there is one, I'm going to wish you the best of luck. I win and see me and hold my gigantic 15-pound trophy.
Yeah,
This thing is
I'm sure.
I hate it, but I love it.
And if you can make it out to Pittsburgh this summer, I'd love to see you and Packy battle it out in Dr. Mario. But I know it's a trek, but
I'm not really traveling until I get a job or I start doing well in Super Smash Brothers. So, because I am sitting on a decent amount of money to survive for a while, but I'm not trying to burn it by just flying out somewhere.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll figure out a way to get you to come out to some of the other shows and maybe do some panels and stuff like that, kind of like what we did with Game On Expo. So we'll figure that out.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Chris, any parting thoughts?
Nope. John, you're a great champion. I'm proud that you're the leader of our class. And glad that I gave you our little cartridge in 17 and got that picture, you and me at the Hammerstein Ballroom, or whichever ballroom it was in New York, in the Manhattan Center. But you're awesome, dude, and thanks for doing this interview.
No problem.
Later, guys.
All right, guys. Take care. All right. So, that's the end of the show. Fantastic. Nice job. Thanks.